And we are live to the Millions, the Dylan Holy Experience. That is, it's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in California, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those of you on the East Coast, and anywhere in between. Y'all can do the math because I don't have the brain power for that right now, because there is a lot of stuff on our docket on the midweek market recap tonight. So let's just jump straight into it. S&P 500 futures inch lower as the House prepares to vote on a debt ceiling bill. Stock futures inched lower late Wednesday after the market wrapped the month of May, marked by a dramatic rally in artificial intelligence related stocks. Futures on the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 47 points or 0.14%. S&P 500 futures and NASDAQ 100 futures both inched lower as well. The NASDAQ composite ended May with a 5.8% gain as enthusiasm around AI continued to boost tech-related stocks. Chipmaker Nvidia jumped 36% in May, briefly touching $1 trillion in market capitalization this week. And we are going to talk about that a little further in the midweek market recap, or actually right after this little brief synopsis of what's going on with all the indexes. But, quote, we have been impressed by the resilience of this market since the March low, absorbing a relentless onslaught of negative sentiment and headlines, says Craig Johnson, chief market technician at Piper Sandler. Investors are closely watching a bill that would raise the debt ceiling and cut government spending. The measure passed a key procedural hurdle in the House on Wednesday, clearing its path to a final vote on the floor later this evening. And now listen, all right, this debt ceiling stuff, I've talked about it a little bit, but I haven't given much time or energy talking about it because it just doesn't matter, because they're going to end up raising it. They do this every 2 years. The real problem, and check out this segue, members of the Millions, the real problem is what I addressed over on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. Where is this thing pinned? Did they not pin this thing? Hello? Did we not pin it? Right here. U.S. debt problem. Take a look at it. It's for real. I want to talk to you. TikTok.com/@DylanHoley. It's also over on YouTube.com/@DylanHoley over on Shorts. Actually, have I not posted? Oh my gosh, I haven't posted. I'll post it tonight. Don't even sweat it. But yeah, it's over on TikTok right now. This is the real problem. This debt ceiling stuff is nothing. The real problem is that our corporate, or that our federal debt has jumped $7 trillion in 3 years, where it's gone from DMH Experience. Yes, Sir Tanner, thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the attention. I'm talking about the U.S. debt problem. Now, the U.S. debt ceiling is kind of dumb because they're going to end up raising it. And at this point, I'm all about, conservative monetary policy. I think this is something, or just more maybe not conservative, but dial less progressive monetary policy. How's that? I'm all about less progressive monetary policy, and I'm not about money printing, and I'm not about infinite debt. But at this point, ever since we went off the gold standard, there's only one possibility, and that is an infinite amount of debt. That has literally happened to every single currency, to every single civilization in history that has debased their currency. Literally, it has never not happened. Straight up. So I think at this point, we're so far gone. Just keep raising the debt ceiling. That's the only way we keep the gears moving. Straight up. How do we fix the debt issue? What are some solutions that have worked in the past? That's a really, really interesting question. Or is there anything we can do? So in terms of how do we fix the debt issue? Well, the debt issue can be fixed. It's on paper, it's actually really, really easy. And that is, we dial back government spending. If we dial back government spending and how much the actual government is funding to itself, then that's how we dial it back. Unfortunately, when that does happen, where is it here? Hold on. Let's do 2020. Oh man, I'm linking some of the Dylan Holy. Oh my gosh, I'm totally leaking all of my midweek market recap stuff. It's okay though. Let's just do government appropriations bill. So government appropriations is basically the government's budget each year. And this is the federal budget. So Consolidated Appropriations Act. All right, perfect. Right here. Yeah, it's the omnibus spending bill. So basically, what the government can spend its money on, and then we can also take a look at like IRS revenue as well, because that's another big thing. I love your commitment, by the way. Keep up the work, and I cannot wait to see you blow up, Tanner. I love you, man. There's nothing but love. There's nothing but love on the Dylan Holy experience for the sandbars. We definitely need a sandbars Dylan Holy experience crossover at some point. I think we've done it before, but we definitely need to do it again. But let's do IRS revenue collected, and let's just do like 2022 as well. Can we get a wiki? Let's do this. Let's do a little wiki. Let's do a cheeky little wiki. Federal income tax revenue by state. I guess we'll just run that. Fiscal year 2019. Oh my gosh. No, we're just gonna do Fred. All right. Trust me. This is worth the setup. Want to know the last time there was a Dylan Holy X Sandbars experience? When was that? Because I actually have no idea. October 29th. No shit. October 20th. We gotta fucking change that. Oh my gosh. Was it the raid? Was it the day one raid? Oh my God, it was day one Garden of Salvation. Yeah, we got to change that. We definitely need to change that. Yeah, we're going to make something happen. To the members of the millions tuning in right now, we are going to, we're going to be planning some stuff in the back end. So we're going to, I'll stay tight-lipped, but we are definitely going to be changing that. And it's the most recent Dylan Holy X Sandbar collab is definitely going to be within the next few months, if not earlier. Anyway, so going on, let's just take a look at what's going on. So, consolidated appropriations, basically how much money the government is allocating to itself each year, and then let's just do like omnibus spending, Fred, omnibus spending, Fred. All right, federal government current expenditures. So. Debt problem. Also, your mic sounds a lot better than it used to. I think it was a coding thing. I have no idea what I did. I think it just kind of changed. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, so what's going on with this debt problem? Basically, we are spending way more money than we need to. If we just take a look at like federal debt, Fred. You can see like what's really happened. Probably software. Okay, sorry, continue. I'm curious. No, it's all good. Yeah, so government debt. So at COVID-19, when COVID-19 started, we were at about $23 trillion. And
Hero said, guys.
$23 trillion, $23.2 trillion Q1 2020. We are now sitting at about 31.4, which is right where the debt ceiling is that they raised in 2021. So that's kind of what's happening here. And as you can see, like we basically flatlined because like our spending can't like go up anymore. I mean, it slightly did, but like it didn't go up as drastically as before.
Hero said, what should I build at the end of the railway? Braden has me building in my
where we're at
hardcore world.
Right now in terms of fixing the government debt issue is as soon as we took our dollar off of like the gold standard or something backing the currency, the only
Hero said gonna be a hella long railroad.
Oh my gosh,
but I need something interesting to put at the end of it.
Oh my God. Thank you, here. Yeah, dude. I don't know, dude. Some people just be using TTS on Discord. I need to like turn that off. But the problem is when you debase a currency like we did, you see like runaway debt. Like this is what happens when you go off of the gold standard. You just fucking go insane. Now, in terms of things that have worked in the past, like how strategies to reduce government debt. Because Bill Clinton actually did this in the 90s to reduce government debt. And the thing is the biggest thing is either spending cuts, which is like basically getting rid of, I mean, at this point now it's either getting rid of the military,
Hero
getting rid of
any
Social Security.
ideas?
Jesus Christ, I
Richard,
need to fucking,
Lewis,
hold on. I'm going to do a
destroyer of
taskbar
Porlock,
and
Brock,
end this.
Ask me
Oh
about my small
Lord.
attention span,
Oh,
Texera,
no.
Biscuits, and Davy.
Oh no. Let's close this out. All right, that should end it. I ended all of the instances in my task manager. It's either cutting spending, which like I'm actually all about. Like I think on paper cutting spending could be a good idea. The problem is in context, Cutting government spending means you cut Social Security. Cutting government spending, because like government budget breakdown chart. Or government, yeah, chart. Let's do that. You can disable text-to-speech. Oh, dude, thank the Lord. Thank you for that. I'm actually going to take advantage of that. So real, dude. So real. Okay. This is 2016. But, I mean, well, how about this? What's this showing? Social Security. No, we'll just do 2016 because, like, yes, it's, like, the actual, like, information is going to be like the only thing that's really changed, where was it? The only thing that's really changed is like how much money we've been giving to them, but I think generally speaking, like the actual like breakdown is generally the same. But if you look at like most of where the money is going in terms of government spending, it's Social Security or, you know, SSI, basically like social safety net, giving people their checks each month. Then there's Medicare and like government subsidized healthcare at number 2, and then the military at number 3. Yeah, see, like the military in 2016 was at $634 billion in terms of its budget allocation. Now it's like $858 billion. Like, it's like they're only raising it. So like one way is to like cut the government spending, but the problem is like if you start doing Social Security cuts or Medicare cuts or even military cuts, because the fucking defense contractors don't want that. VA, fucking cutting down your allocation towards paying your interest on debt, which is another fucking problem. The interest payments on debt. So government expenditures, interest. Come on, man. Hold on. Interest payments. That's another thing that we just can't like cut back on now. Do you want to know why? Because in 2020, we went from $516 billion spending per year, basically paying on just the interest of our debt, not principal, just the interest, like keeping us at basically like break even. It has doubled to nearly $1 trillion. So we can't scale that back. We may see some drops as interest rates like raise and drop. But this is going to be a new normal. So there's no way we're going to cut our interest payments down. There's no way we're going to cut Social Security because that's way too much of a fucking hot button topic. And Social Security's a money pit. Like, it's been running a deficit for like 10 years already. They're just going to keep fucking dumping money. Oh, also, Tanner, I don't want to be like the bringer of bad news, but we're just not getting Social Security. Like, that's just not going to be a thing that we have when we're 70. Because like they basically, to keep Social Security at where it currently is, they're going to have to cut it by like 30% within the next like 10 years just to keep it like semi working. Feels dank, man. Yeah, well, but also I say that people have been saying this for 40 years. This has been a thing that's been ongoing for 40 years. Oh, Social Security is going to default. Social Security is going to default. Yeah, but didn't they also say that 40, 50 years ago? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, you know, I just like, they cannot drop any of these things. They're not going to be able to drop social safety nets for people. And they're definitely not dropping our military presence. I mean, shit, dude. This is straight up imperialism. Like, the only way that this works is if we keep dumping money into our military. I don't see them cutting VA benefits. Corn subsidies is basically food and agriculture. Like, they're not going to be cutting subsidies in terms of food. Like, that's how they keep fucking junk food so cheap. It's through government subsidies. Transportation, I actually could see them maybe cutting transportation because people are crazy. But inflation and cost of living compared to average income, I think is the worst. Yeah, dude. If you look at like cost of living versus wage growth in America, it's nuts, dude. Let me see here. Americans suffer pay cuts. So in terms of like the CPI, which even the CPI is bullshit, but just going off of the numbers that they give us of inflation being at like 8.2%, it's down to like 4.5% now is what they're saying, but like the cost of living has not dropped. They're like, we basically run at 3% like loss of purchasing power every year for basically the last like 40 years. this is an even bigger one. This is just until 2013, but like, this is just something I'm pulling up on Google Images right now as we speak. From 1973 to 2013, productivity is technically up 74% in terms of like, they're saying like workers like working, but this is also just like I can like this number is also just like cost of living, and then hourly compensation is only up 9.2% in terms of like real hourly compensation. Bernie Sanders says like, the cost of living has gone up 1,000% in the last 50 years, but the real wages for workers have only grown 8% over the last 50 years. And I can generally agree with that. Like, people are more stretched thin than they've ever been. Just looking at like from 1968 until 2020, the real value of the federal minimum wage is worth 43% less than its peak value in 1968. So, yeah, people are definitely stretched thin, and I don't think that cutting spending for people that rely on these programs is going to work out, and I don't think they're going to do it. At all. Now, the other way we cut down on debt, and this one is not a really popular one for obvious reasons, but that is to raise taxes. Like, just fucking try to collect more money. That's the other way. Like, it's literally just like, it's literally just raising taxes. There's some other options from Investopedia. Give me more. We could have a debt bailout. We could have we can basically come out and say, hey, we need you guys to bail us out of our debt because we have not reeled in our spending and we're bad with money. And could you imagine if the United States says that? Yeah, that's not going to happen. And then lastly is default on our debt. Defaulting on our debt, that's not really going to be the way of like how we cut down our spending. I think if we wanted to cut down our spending, just cut down on military spending. But that's just not going to happen. That being said, I do think, Tanner, and like I definitely think like the debt ceiling crisis in the U.S. defaulting on our debt, I definitely think that that's just like things that people say, and I think it's people just trying to stoke the flames of like hysteria. Like, they're literally just manufacturing hysteria with this. But I do think in our lifetime we will see a United States default on debt, and when that happens, shit goes really crazy really, really quick. That's not doom and gloom. This isn't like a doom and gloom thing. This isn't me being like, you need to buy gold, because I did not say you need to buy gold. And also, we never give out financial advice on the Dylan Holy Experience. Time to move to Canada, you say. You know what? I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not gonna move to Canada. I'm chilling here in the United States. If people want to go live in the culturally homogenous, socialist utopia that is Canada, I say more power to you. But I'm gonna be sitting pretty here, live in California, United States of America. But if you want to move to Canada, go for it. But like, generally speaking, like, they're also a westernized, industrialized country with more debt than GDP. I think, let me see. Let's see, Canada debt. Okay, so Canada's debt right now, it's 2.1 trillion, Canada GDP. Oh, well, yeah, 1.9. So, yeah, they are also basically in the same problem as us, but just on a much smaller scale. But yeah, like, every country is levered on this. And if the U.S. defaults on its currency, that's 90% of all global trade denominated in the U.S. dollar. Not saying that's going to stop, but people are way more skeptical about using the U.S. dollar as a world reserve currency. And then once that starts happening, once the cracks start to form in questioning someone's reserve currency status, shit gets crazy real quick. So, to answer the first part of their question, how do we fix the debt issue and what are some solutions that have worked in the past? Basically raising taxes and cutting down on government spending. Also, and use MAID when I'm poor. What does that mean? MAID. Made? Did I just get fucking whooshed? Did I just get a fucking over my head type shit? Should I go onto Urban Dictionary? Medical assistance in dying. Oh shit! Nah, man, you don't want euthanasia. Have you seen that TikTok of like hanging out with my grandma before we euthanize her? Yeah, mate. Yeah, dude. Fucking euthanasia in Canada, dude. It's fucking nuts. Euthanize grandma. Let's see what's going on here.
Somewhere in the multiverse, there's a you and me that were. Somewhere in the
Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, see, this is some dystopic shit. This is some dystopia shit, bro. And obviously, it's like their body, their choice, of course. But like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, no, dude, straight up Brave New World shit, dude. It's insane. Now, in terms of the second part of your question, is there anything we can do? I don't think there's anything we can do at this point. I mean, like, literally, like, raise taxes, cut government spending. That's all we can do. And neither of those things are going to happen. Well, they're going to raise taxes on people, but that money's just going to go into more subsidies. Like, they're going to raise taxes just so they can take more from people and give to themselves. Because the people that are making these policies, that are making these budgets, they have shareholders, basically, or they have corporations in their pockets saying you need to collect more in taxes so we can get more write-offs and you can give us more subsidies. That's literally how the game works. So it's not, I mean, like I think there is a way out of it. It's just they are not going to make it. The people, the powers, as people in the past have said, the powers that should not be, they're going to keep doing things to their benefit at the detriment of us. That's literally how it works. That's literally how the game is played for them. And is that wrong? Yes. Is that bad? Yes. But that is going to be what happens. That's just the game, baby. Like, that's what they play. So, in an ideal world, yeah, we can cut down on our debt and we reel in our government spending. We make a strictly defensive military, and we still have military investment on our fronts, but we leave other countries. We end the imperialist, militaristic regime that is the United States military, and we dial it back, and we cut government funding, and we cut military spending by fucking 50% down to 400 million or 425 million. And you spend that 425 million starting to at least make a chunk at paying down the debt. And dude, you literally do the what if the government did the Dave Ramsey snowball method of paying off debt? What if the U.S. government did the Dave Ramsey baby steps, dude? What if they fucking did? Hold on, dude. What if they did the Dave Ramsey baby steps? What if they what if they do baby step 2? What if they do baby step 2 and just pay off all debt, cuh? Like, come on, man. Come on, Joe. Dave Ramsey, based boomer. Joe Biden could be a based boomer if he did step 2 of the baby steps. But no, I don't see the government status quo as it stands right now changing. And I think through that, we see more corporatism, I think that we see more taxes, and I think that we see more government debt and more government expenditures. And it sucks, but that's what they're going to do. Speaking of corporations and corporations that do lobby, because NVIDIA does do this, they had a pretty good quarter last quarter. Their shares spiked 26% on a forecast beat driven by AI chip demand. Earnings per share, $1.09 adjusted against the 92 cents expected. Revenue at $7.1 billion for the quarter against the $6.5 billion expected. So, yeah, they blew it out of the water in terms of the two numbers that people look most for in quarterly reports. Just going down even more, their data center division saw a 14% annual increase. NVIDIA said its expected sales of $11 billion in the current quarter is 50% higher than Wall Street estimates. We're seeing net income let me see here. Net income compared to 1.6. Yeah, net income is up nearly like 30%. So, or like 20%. So yeah, they had a great quarter, and through that, their CEO made $6.5 billion. It's slightly down now. Just because the stock went down just a little bit, and that's what they're going off of. But Jensen Huang added $6.5 billion to his net worth on Friday, and I'm sure he's sitting real pretty now. I'm sure he's really, really happy. Speaking of big tech, Apple and Apple developers on the App Store generated $1.1 trillion in total billings and sales in the Apple ecosystem in 2022. And now here's what's crazy about that. Here, there's two pieces of information that are pretty crazy about it. So, first things first, their sales since 2019 have increased by more than 80%. They've nearly doubled in the United States, which is crazy. In Europe, since 2019, they've increased 116%. But here's how much Apple is raking in, because the Supreme, or not the Supreme Court precedent, but the court precedent that was set in the Apple versus Epic Games case is really, really interesting. Which basically is, and basically what court said is Apple can charge as much as they want in terms of a fee on their App Store. So on that 1.1 trillion, if we're being even conservative, I mean, Apple typically takes like 30% from most App Store purchases, but even if we're being conservative at 20%, if they take 20% off 1.1 trillion, they made $220 billion last year and just fucking free cash flow, dude. Like, they just fucking, that's just them making money for having a platform that you can put your stuff on. That being said, they said more than 90% of billings and sales accrued solely to developers without any commission paid to Apple. But that's coming from Apple. So I do not know. Moving on. Tanner, today's the last day of May. So dude, in one day, the Dylan Holy Experience is going to go full rainbow, baby. Rainbow capitalism here on the Dylan Holy Experience. We're talking about Pride Month. Happy Pride Month to all of my LGBTQIA plus members of the millions. We all love you here on the Dylan Holy Experience. But Berkshire Hathaway, they managed to score a 0 on the Corporate Equality Index. See, the Corporate Equality Index was made by the Human Rights Campaign, and it investigates how woke a business has become solely based on LGBTQ plus policies, and it assigns it a woke credit score, the CEI. This is from Armstrong Economics. I really do like him, but yeah, he's definitely anti-woke. There's definitely an intrinsic bias of being anti-woke here. But Warren Buffett, he received the lowest score of any company on the S&P 500. And is this because he's homophobic to receive the lowest possible score? No. Apparently, Warren Buffett just declined to report Berkshire Hathaway's business to the Human Rights Campaign. He simply does not care. Like, he really does not give a shit at all. He said, we get surveys all the time on all kinds of things, and we basically don't answer them. So Warren Buffett, the beautiful thing about Warren Buffett is, like, he's so old at this point, and he's just so boomer. He's older than a boomer. He's just so past boomer investing, dude. He's just like, I don't care, bro. I'm literally just trying to make as much money as fucking possible. I don't give a shit about any of these surveys. This is stupid. But there's one company that doesn't think it's stupid. And that's Target, which was also covered by Martin Armstrong over on Armstrong Economics. Target received a 100% score on the Corporate Equality Index and was rated number 4 by the Human Rights Campaign for being one of the wokest companies. This arbitrary social credit score goes against American values, and people are protesting with their dollars. See, this is definitely where some of the intrinsic bias comes out. I'm not gonna lie, but that being said, their woke campaigns, I definitely think the go woke, go broke stuff is kind of overplayed. But if you're looking at past history of companies, I'm not going to lie, when they go woke, they typically go broke. I mean, if we're looking at Disney went woke, and they're down from 183. They're down nearly 50, nearly 50% from their all-time high in 2021, which is right when they started doing all their shit. You know, when they started doing all their woke shit, frankly, like, so Disney definitely went broke after they went woke, and then Anheuser-Busch, like, we all know what happened with them. We all know what happened with them. Oh, Google's not even showing it on their, interesting. Well, if we look at what happened to Anheuser-Busch, they had a decent amount of their market cap knocked out too. I mean, just from here, $66 down to like 53. So definitely not as drastic as Disney, but you know, they definitely went broke. But if we're going back to, oh shit, debt ceiling passes in the House. Tanner, you are literally here on the precipice of breaking news. The House passed the debt ceiling Wednesday night before the U.S. is projected to run out of money. Dude, this is breaking news. We're going to cover it right here. A bill to raise the debt limit and cap government spending passed in the House by a wide margin late Wednesday night. Dude, and you already know you're literally going to see how the bread is fucking made on the Dylan Holy Experience. We're literally going to be doing some breaking news breakdowns right now. The drama now moves to a Democratic-controlled House. Dude, breaking. Let's do an alarm too. We have to do an alarm emoji. U.S. debt ceiling bill. Dude, let's go! Bill passed in the House. Now headed to the Senate. Oh, fuck yeah. All right, let's see what's going on. The bill's new work requirements for for SNAP would not save any money over 10 years, but would instead actually cost money. Fuck it. We're just going to do this and we're going to cover it later. We'll do a fucking Kevin McCarthy, Joe Biden picture. Kevin McCarthy, Joe Biden. We're going to do a little bit of this. Let's do a handshake. Oh, let's do this. This is perfect. And we have to, of course, give our credit to Tom Williams over at Roll Call. Roll Call, and then we'll, of course, continue on with our regularly scheduled programming on the Dylan Holy Experience. Just give me uno momento, por favor. Boom. Source, we of course have to source on the Dylan Holy Experience. And U.S. debt ceiling bill passes in the House. The bill now heads to the Senate. Boom! Tanner, that's how the bread is made on the Dylan Holy Experience. You literally just saw that in real time. Boom. That's how we do it. I guess we can break this down a little bit. So, a snap twist. Okay, allegedly, okay, and I'm sure we can go up onto, like, NBC, too, and then I'm sure we can also go to Fox, because, you know, I like getting everything. I do like getting everything. You know, people say, like, oh, Fox is not a reputable source. Dude, literally neither is NBC. They're literally both politically grifting. Let's see what's going on. Let's read NBC first. Let's read up on some Fox second. So 314 to 117, whatever. See what's going on. The bill would extend the debt limit for 2 years alongside a 2-year budget agreement. Dude, they literally extended the debt ceiling for another 2 years. That's the one that passed. No shit. Every 2 fucking years, dude. Like, and as soon as it passes in the Senate, Tanner, I'm telling you, you are going to see on the Dylan Holy Experience at Real Dylan Holy, my thoughts on it, because we're going to talk about it a little bit. But let's see what else is going on. It's a culmination of yada, yada, yada. Who cares? Liners. Modest spending cuts and suspends the borrowing limit until January 1st of 2025. With Treasury then able to use extraordinary measures to pay the bills. It includes conservative measures that would claw back about $28 billion in unspent COVID relief funds. Cool. Eliminate $1.4 billion in IRS funding and shift roughly $20 billion of the $80 billion the IRS got to non-defense funding. What's going to be used as non-defense funding? I don't know. The bill's also going to restart federal student debt loan payments after a lengthy pause. They just got shit on, dude. Every single person that thought they was getting the federal student loans forgiven, y'all just got played, motherfuckers. Y'all just got played. It's going to add work requirements for people up to 55 years old to get benefits. The current threshold is 50 years old, with carve-outs for veterans and homeless people. So I think they are they're trying to make it harder for people to get SNAP benefits until you're about 55 years old. And that's another way you can actually cut down on government spending, at least, or making like Social Security and social safety nets like more sustainable. It's just like raising the working age and raising the retirement age on things. But that's what France did, and people were not happy. And I don't think the U.S., like most U.S. citizens, would not be happy if like Social Security got bumped to like 70 years old instead of like 60, for instance. Moving on. Doesn't make any changes to Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. So there's not going to be any more funding there. It would reduce federal discretionary spending by $1.3 trillion over the next 10 years, but that's about like $130 billion a year. The SNAP reforms would actually net out a spending increase of $2.1 billion, and the new work rules would save $6.5 billion, but the new exclusions for homeless people and veterans would add 78,000 new people to SNAP benefit rolls and cost $8.6 billion. So if we ran all this, yeah, I mean, again, like this shit is basically about yeah, they're just going to raise government spending, and they're going to do it every 2 years, and then there's going to be like, oh, there's catastrophic debt. There's going to be a debt default every 2 years. They literally do this every 2 years. So, hey, it's good that we're going to move on to the next story. It has to go through the Senate first. And then we'll move on to the next story. But let's see what Fox News has to say. Democrats took credit for the bill. Let's turn this down. A journey to make. Let's see. Yeah, it's basically going to be the same thing. Because the thing is they're both like as soon as it goes like nonpartisan, like, yeah, everyone is paid for by the exact same. Like literally everyone is paid for by the exact same people. So it doesn't even matter. Like it's all just a sham. So like when it comes down to it, they're gonna raise everything because they keep getting paid for it. The final agreement reached over the weekend suspends the debt limit with no cap through January 1st, 2025, and also allows non-defense spending. And we'll also be cutting non-defense spending to near fiscal 2022 levels, capping growth at 1% for the next 2 years, and proposing non-mandatory caps for the 4 years after. It's also going to claw back some of the money aimed at the IRS and the unspent COVID pandemic funds. But yeah, they're basically saying the same thing. So yeah. Anyway, we broke the news of that on Twitter, which is pretty cool. We literally caught that, and we gave like a straight up rundown of everything that happened. Obviously, hasn't passed in the Senate yet, so it's not like, you know, a law or like an actual like a passed bill yet. But I do think that the Senate's, I mean, it's Democrat controlled, so they're probably going to end up voting on it. Except if there's some filibustering, and if that's the case, then we're just going to drag the story out another few more days. And the hysteria is going to build even more until we end up raising the debt ceiling again. But yeah, this is probably going to be the bill that ends up getting passed, and we'll go from there. Moving on, yeah. So Target woke as hell, go woke, go broke, and they lost a bunch of equity. That's that story. Moving on, a new study pegs the median age of the world's billionaires at 67 years old. So shout out to literally old white men for being billionaires. Yeah, so 42% are over the age of 70 and fewer than 10% are under the age of 50. Yeah, most boomers are billionaires. Like, boomers are primarily billionaires. Yeah, what are you going to do, man? Hey, it's all good. They're just trying to trap people in the middle class. Well, actually not even in the middle class. Like, at this point, it's just like the wealthy class and then working class. That's it. Like, I think they have like successfully murdered the middle class in terms of what happens when they all die. Because, Tanner, do you know what we get? Do you know what we get, baby? Do you know what Gen Xers, the true Zoomers, are going to turn into, baby? We're going to get a little cheeky generational wealth transfer. Basically, when all the boomers die, they are going to give all of their money to their children. So all the Gen Xers that are like kind of getting their footing now, they're going to get a bunch of shit when their boomer parents die. And when the Gen Xers die, then all the millennials who are like just really getting started out, that's when they're going to get their stuff. And when the millennials die, hey baby, all the Zoomers right now complaining that they're broke and everyone else is rich, in about like 40 to 50 years from now, dude, we're going to get our wealth transfer. So just grind. Keep your nose to the grindstone, and you're going to take advantage of that generational wealth transfer when that happens. But yeah, what happens when they all die? They're just all the money is just going to shift into another age demographic. That's literally what it's going to be. Like, people think like, oh, they have all this money and they're going to hoard it until they die. Yeah, but then they're going to die, and the money is just going to get sent back out. That, like, yes, this is the highest proportion in terms of like wealth concentration in history. Like, wealth concentration by generation historic. There we go. Yeah, so like if we're looking at like wealth by generation, and Gen Z isn't even on here. Like Gen Z, like this is when Gen Z, like this is like 2020, so this is like right when we started. Let's see. No, that's not it. Whatever. Yeah, this is fine. Like, yes, they're hoarding a shit ton of money, but this is all, dude, like, trickle down? Trickle down doesn't work with rich people in terms of, like, giving them more money and then having it trickle down. Trickle down works when the age demographic dies and all the money just gets moved on to the next age demographic. Like, that's real trickle down. So yeah, the wealth is literally just going to trickle down from age demographic to age demographic. So that's going to be what happens. I think I have one more thing. Oh yeah, this is kind of off topic. Definitely more of a like out of thin air kind of deal. But I did put this up on Twitter a few days ago. They were so everyone's been talking about the COVID supply chain crunch, but that's over, dude. So the cost of shipping containers, basically shipping like a freight across the ocean to another trading route, basically, the cost of shipping containers have fallen 81% from their COVID high, from about $10,300 to in 2021 at their peak to $1,900 or $1,900, less than $2,000 in May of 2023. These are basically, I mean, they're slightly higher than like pre-COVID levels, but we're basically down to where we were at the pre-COVID era. The pre-pandemic era. The supply chain crunch is over. Demand is dropping for things. Raw materials, lumber, concrete, all that fun stuff is dropping. And we're actually going to be talking about that. And I guess I'm doing a little teaser here and spoiler for what I'm going to be doing next. But yeah, like all raw materials and the cost of shipping said raw materials and actually producing raw materials, I mean, inflation adjusted, of course, have dropped back down to pre-COVID levels. So, yeah, the supply chain crunch is over. I think that we are about to have, so in the 80s, from the 70s to the 80s, we saw the oil crisis, and then in the 80s, we saw the oil glut. I think that we are about to see a housing glut. I think that we are about to see a supply glut of most things because everyone overextended in COVID, and now we're paying the price for it. So yeah, there we go. Midweek market recap, Dylan Holy experience, 45 minutes of just straight up bangers. Thank you all so much for watching, Tanner. It was a pleasure talking with you, always, and thank you for the questions. Seriously, if you ever like have any questions and I'm doing this, or like, I mean, you've got my number and my private info too. But I'm always more than happy to talk about this stuff because it's my jam. And if I can entertain you, inform you, and leave you smiling, then I take that. That's what we do on the Dylan Holy Experience: entertain and inform. If you like what you saw at Real Dylan Holy, I'm always giving dude, Tanner lit. The millions saw me give breaking news. They literally saw me break the news of the U.S. debt ceiling bill passing in the House and now heading to Congress, or to the Senate, excuse me. And I also just do breaking news throughout the day, as well as key takeaways, which whenever the market is open, I'm always giving you all key takeaways over on Twitter and YouTube, which youtube.com/@DylanHoly. Be sure to give me a follow over there. And yeah, so key takeaways, I'm always posting them over. Damn, dude, shit, nice. Sorry, I was just looking at the metrics. But yeah, at Dylan Holy, I'm giving you all key takeaways and midweek market recap whenever we're live on Wednesdays, and of course some other content as well spread out through there. And lastly, Twitch.tv/Dylan Holy. That's where we do the midweek market recap. This is primarily where people follow me at. I'm at 28 followers, so we're definitely not close. Crispy Circuits, you've left me with a smile. Hey, let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Appreciated, man. Me too. Oh my God, it's Kyle! It's Kyle! Hi, dude. I didn't realize it was Kyle. Hi, Kyle. Thank you for watching, dude. Really appreciated. Man, much love. But twitch.tv/Dylan Holy, be sure to give me a follow over there. So again, I'm on the road to partner. So the more people that follow, then we can start doing like the subscriptions. Dude, Kyle has joined the millions, dude. Appreciated, man. Much love to all my boys out there in the redacted metropolitan area. But thank you so much. Always love. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Midweek Market Recap Dylan Holy Experience. And I'll catch y'all on the flip somewhere on the internet. Have a good night.